I absolutely adore the Last of Us games. The first one is my personal favorite of all time, and part 2 makes it into my top 5. And those games did a lot for me when I was younger. When they came out with the TV series, I was intrigued. Obviously, adapting my favorite game franchise of all time and having to change that up for TV was going to be an interesting thing to tackle. I think they did excellent in the first season. I thought it was fucking fantastic what they did in the first season. Expanded on more things, and then they cut things that weren't necessary. They did a lot more with the source material than I thought they were going to do. That was just going to be cut corners or change things too drastically where it's no longer The Last of Us. And I'm always in that camp when it comes to adaptations of things, that things need to be changed per medium. A video game franchise that's being adapted to movies is never going to be the same as it's never going to be exactly the same as you think it's going to be when it moves to movies or TV. And that's something I've been willing to be okay with when it comes to The Last of Us. Change things, move things around when it makes sense. The Last of Us Season 2, and I'm saying this with the release of the newest episode that came out, which is episode 2, which is where the fateful moment happens, and it's not looking good. So The Last of Us Part 2 is very divisive among fans and people who played the game, and there's some good reasons, there's some bad reasons, and all around I think the HBO team's taking the wrong lessons from the hate. First of all, let's talk about one of the bigger elephants in the room when it comes to casting. Bella Ramsey is a terrific actor. They are fantastic. They did a fantastic job for the first season, and I didn't have much of a problem walking into season 2 with them still continuing the role of Ellie. But then I replayed part 2 because I wanted to. They still have a lot of the pieces of Ellie, like the normal, goofy, naive, childlike Ellie that still inhabits the 19-year-old version of herself. But I'm very concerned when it comes to the end of the season. I know we haven't seen the proof there. There's no proof in the pudding just yet, and I could be proven wrong. I really want to be proven wrong. But 19-year-old Ellie has this sense of anger and viciousness, and even in episode 2 when Dina's like, they should all be afraid of you. That's Ellie in the part 2. Ellie is a terrifying person in the Last of Us world. There's scenes in that show where it's like, I don't know if I should be rooting for you anymore. I'm going to because I love you and I know what you've been through, and in the end, it seems justified on your end of things. That ties into the themes of survivor's guilt and grief and the cycle of violence that attributes that. It's like, I feel like that's why people get lost with Abby. Is like, she's Ellie just on the other side of the coin. It's like literally the same person. I don't get that from Bella Ramsey. I'm kind of terrified for that performance when we get to those scenes where Ellie's a little more terrifying, because I just don't know if I can see that in Bella Ramsey. And I want to be proven wrong. I'm saying this, and I want to be proven wrong when it comes to these things. But there's people like Dina, Isabel Merced. She plays Dina perfectly throughout the first 2 episodes. She's doing great. Everyone's doing relatively good at the job. I'm just worried about the casting when it comes to Bella Ramsey in the later parts of the season, if not in season 3 when that happens. And I'm not asking for outright recast. I'm just saying I need to see the proof in the pudding, and I'm just anxious about the results, Now let's talk about one of the other bigger problems I have with this season so far, and that is in Caitlin Dever's Abby. Not Caitlin Dever's problem, though. It's not. It's really not. The original game had us taking control of Abby about an hour into the game. They talk about trying to find a person. We don't know, we can kind of sense the vibe in the group of why they want to find this person, and why they're looking for Jackson, and why they're on a goose hunt right now, and they're getting this vibe. It's a very big mystery. And even when we get into the moment where Abby finds Joel, her demeanor changes. Now we're on a line where it's like, oh shit, something's gonna go down. There's this big mystery leading up to the eventual confrontation of Joel. Incredibly impactful, and threw a lot of gamers through a loop, and they didn't know why this was happening. And it was, again, incredibly impactful. We're talking about it 5 years later. It's one of the marquee moments of the 2020s in gaming. And it's really important that you keep that mystery and you keep that like anxious vibe within that group and also to the audience, because we are so attached to these characters that you have to keep everyone on their toes when it comes to this marquee moment. But in the end, when it comes to these things, it's defeated, it's deflated, because we know that Abby wants to kill Joel off rip in episode 1 when they don't even find Joel yet. Like, and when they do find Joel, it's just like she's hunting him down, and it's never, we don't have anxiety about it because we know that that's her intent, is to kill Joel. And it just, it deflates it. It doesn't make it as impactful. I mean, it ruins that moment. Also, she's got this weird fascination with how Joel looks. Pedro Pascal, great looking man. But she's like, he's handsome, and then she chuckles like, haha, yeah, he was. And then like she like massages his face in the episode 2 when she's about to kill him, and it's just like this weird like dynamic they've added, and I don't like it. I don't know why they have added it. There's zero reason to add it. Like, he's dead now, so it's like, sorry. Anyway, also spoilers for a new TV show, but also a 5-year game. So another problem I have with Caitlin Deaver's Abby is not on her. The Last of Us TV show producers asked her not to bulk up. Now, there's multiple problems with this. First of all, it leads into a lot of the misogyny that would happen to Abby, the character, and Laura Bailey and others who like embodied the person of Abby throughout the production. Abby was a very muscular woman, super ribbed. I know it probably threw a lot of people's radar, because they're a lot more. They were trying to be like, oh, she's not attractive, which is false. But again, that's the point. The reason why Abby is so muscular in the second game is that like she's not even muscular in the first, like her flashbacks. The reason why she's muscular is to show us, without telling the audience, to show us rather than telling, that Abby has been at this for the last 5 years, that she has worked her ass off, that this is the one thing she's been working to do for the last 5 years, and how dedicated she is. She's been hunting Joel down for 5 years. That's the thing. Her not being bulked up, while it doesn't super hurt it, it deflates that notion. Like, Caitlin Deaver's doing a great job with it. She's doing great. It's the fact of the matter that we don't have like the physical proof, that we just know that it's been 5 years. That's all. We just know. But Abby being muscular in that game shows us that she's been at this for 5 years. And then again, like I said earlier, it leads to the misogyny that women can't be muscular, they can't be fit, they can't be like that. It's just, that's the problem. Another few problems I have with so far is there's this particular weed scene at the beginning of the game. Again, a lot of this is going to be at the beginning of the game because that's where they're at in the TV show. So Dina and Ellie just kind of like find themselves in Eugene's little weed area, and while they're on patrol, and they cut this out, or they moved it around. Either one. But when it comes to the patrols, they have Dina go off with Joel, and it makes sense for why that happens. But again, you could have just stuck with the original pairing, but they give us this super macho moment for Gabriel Luna's character, not needed, because him not being there ruins the survivor's guilt he has throughout the game, and the grief that he has, because he could have stopped it. That's the problem. That's his like arc in the game, is to get through that survivor's guilt and like find that for himself. So that's ruined. And they threw Dina in there when Dina could have been out with Ellie, and being a supporting character for Ellie. And we have this nice moment between Ellie and Dina in the game where they're smoking weed, they're flirting, they do whatever, and it's this super nice moment. And that moment's so important to happen before Joel's death, because it's the last moment Ellie feels peace. Ellie just hasn't felt peace so far in this season. Like there's no been super big peaceful moment for her. She's been harassed by Seth, odds with Joel the whole time. There's no peace in here. But I think that scene is super important to portray that, to build her up, build her relationship, build up her happiness, and then tear it down within the next 15 minutes. It's that impactful. Again, when it comes to Bella Ramsey's performance, it's like, sure, it works for 14-year-old Ellie, and there's parts of that that's still within Ellie, but like when Joel is getting beaten to death, Ellie is crying for Joel to get up, and that's not unnormal. Like that happens in the game, but there's a difference between Ashley Johnson's performance, who is an amazing actress, an amazing person, where she is begging, she is yelling, this isn't a cry for help. Bella Ramsey's performance in the show is her crying for help, and it works to a certain point when they've been working more on this like dad and daughter situation. They've been trying to build that up a little bit more. Odd. The decisions they made to this season have been odd so far, and I don't really enjoy them. I think when you're making choices and making differences in the adaptation, they should make sense. And so far, when I've been watching this show, I'm seeing differences. It's not making sense to me, and that's a problem in my mind. It's just like, we need to follow. You should follow what you can, and change what you do when there's a problem. Like, they can definitely change the pacing. The pacing of the second game is quite slow, and we jump from Abby to Ellie quite often. But like, I don't know. I'm super worried that they're gonna ruin Abby's arc, because I think it's incredibly impactful, and I don't think everyone got it in the game, and I think a lot of people, I think they're trying to fix that, and I think they're fixing it in the worst way possible. Like, I don't go down to the lowest common denominator. Just do what you did in the game. It was great. It was an amazing story, and people who understood the story got it. There's a lot of people who didn't get the story, but also maybe literacy in this fucking country is dead. So that's just me. But I'm worried about the season of The Last of Us. I hope they prove me wrong throughout, but apparently won't even finish the second game in this season, so I'm guessing that this is going to be a lot more Abby's the bad guy in this season, that Ellie is hunting her down, and then Abby will get more of a character arc in season 3. Who knows? I don't even know. Maybe they'll do the opposite. I have zero idea. It's not looking bright.